Today in our 2017 Chevrolet Silverado 2500, we're going to be installing B&W's custom underbed installation kit for the B&W companion fifth wheel trailer hitch. This fifth wheel installation kit is designed to let you install your B&W companion fifth wheel trailer hitches. The adapters are part numbers BWR VK3500 or part number BWR VK3400. The underbed design of the kit allows for full truck bed access, and when you're ready, it's under 5 minutes to convert your empty truck bed into a fifth wheel hitch. We'll start off by unlocking our B&W hitch and installing our fifth wheel adapter. We have ours pre-assembled, but you can adjust the uprights here depending on your truck and trailer combinations. At this point, the hitch is ready to attach to a trailer. There's a little clip here that you release. Basically, it's a safety pin. Then you swing the handle out and you can watch the jaws open. You're ready to back up onto your trailer. Once you're secure onto your trailer, you can reinstall the clip. And since the fifth wheel installation kit doubles as a gooseneck hitch, when you're not towing your fifth wheel, you can remove it. This frees up the hole to reinsert the hitch ball when you need it. Now we'll go ahead and show you how to install the custom underbed kit for the B&W companion fifth wheel trailer hitches.
We'll begin our installation by removing our spare tire. Now, it's not necessary to remove the spare tire, but it will significantly give you more room to work and see what you're doing. Next, we'll need to mark and drill out a 4-inch hole for our gooseneck in our truck bed. You'll want to refer to your instructions for the appropriate position where you're going to mark and drill. The distance from the edge of your bed is going to be dependent upon the length of your bed. So we've got a short bed here, so we've marked it. We're now going to drill out our 4-inch hole. We'll now clean up our metal shavings and then use some clear coat around the edge to prevent any rust and corrosion. Next, we're going to remove our heat shield. We'll use a 13mm socket to remove the bolts at the back and the front of the shield. We can now take our heat shield down and set it aside, as we won't be reinstalling it. Now we're going to cut out a notch on our passenger side just above our jounce bumper. We're going to use some tin snips to start here. This will allow us to slide in our rails up above our frame. We can now slide in our front cross member. We want the smooth side to be towards the front and the side with the holes in it towards the rear. Then you can slide it towards the front of the truck. We can then slide in our rear section. And we'll finish sliding that over until it's roughly centered. We'll then need to rotate our rear cross member so that it's upright. The holes are offset on our beam here, so we need to make sure that the holes are closest to the frame, so that's the bottom, not the bed. So we're going to be rotating it this way. To assist with rotation, you can use an adjustable wrench to grab it and help you twist it. We can now slide it all the way back. Now on our front cross beam, on the driver's side just above our fuel tank, we're going to pre-install one of our bolts. You'll have 8 bolts that are identical. Those are going to be the ones that go into your cross member. So we'll set that bolt in. We'll use the rubber O-ring that comes in the kit to help keep that bolt in place. This just makes it easier to get your center section up and get this bolt in place due to the limited space from the fuel tank being there. We'll now raise our center section in place. It may be useful to have an extra set of hands to help you get this lined up. I'm going to make sure that the hole lines up with the hole that we cut in our bed. We're going to use the shorter bolts to attach our front cross member and the longer bolts to attach our rear cross member. We'll now line the bolts up in the frame with our center section and slide some of the hardware through. We're now going to get one bolt started on each side. So for the rear cross member, we're going to use a bolt with a lock washer and a flat washer on it. And we're going to get that threaded in straight into the cross member. Once you get one started on each side, it'll make it easier to hold up the rest of your hardware. The one that we had in our front cross member now, we were just using to support it. We'll now put the correct hardware on that, which is going to be a bolt straight through the front member, then our center section, followed by a lock washer and a nut. We can now install the rest of our hardware in the same way for both the front and cross rear.
With it lined up properly, you can see the pre-installed bolt has made it through the whole of our center section.
With all of our hardware loosely installed, we can tighten it all down using a 19mm socket or wrench. Next, we're going to get ready to install our side plates. There are factory weld nuts in the frame we'll be using. Depending on the condition of your truck, you may need to clean those out because you don't want your hardware to gall. So we're going to use some spray lube and a bristled brush to just clean out the dirt and debris, and then verify our bolt fits. If yours are particularly bad, you may need to use a tap to clean them out. So we're going to do that to the rest of the weld nuts. There's 2 on each side. Now we're ready to put our side plates on. So we'll slide those in place, lining up our holes. We'll install the large bolts that we just cleaned out the holes for. These have a lock washer and a flat washer on them, and we're going to thread those into those holes that we just cleaned out. Now we'll attach it to our cross members for the rear one. We'll take the shorter bolt with a lock washer and flat washer on it. We're going to slide it through and thread it into our rear plate. And we're going to be using the same hardware for the front bolt. We're also going to need a nut. We'll slide the bolt through first from the forward going rearward. Then we'll slide on our flat washer, lock washer, and thread on our nut. We'll repeat these exact same steps on the opposite side. We can now go back and tighten up all of our hardware. The larger bolts will tighten with a 15/16 socket. And the smaller ones will tighten up with 19mm sockets or wrenches. Now we can torque all of our hardware to the specifications found in our instructions. We also want to be sure that we torque all of our underbed hardware as well. We'll now use a 1/2-inch drill bit and use our center section as a template to drill out the holes for the safety chains. And we'll repeat that for the remaining holes. Just like before, we'll vacuum them up and clear coat them. And now we can drop our U-bolts down in the holes. Now we'll take our springs, slide them on our U-bolts, and thread one of the locking nuts below it. We'll repeat that for the other side of the U-bolt and the other U-bolt too. Now we'll tighten them down with a 19mm socket until they become flush with the bottom of the U-bolt. Next we'll install our handle. Your fender liner may be in the way, ours is, so we're just going to use some tin snips to just cut that out of the way. Now we can slide our handle in. We need to slide it through the hole in our center section. We're going to line it up with the mechanism here. We'll insert our carriage bolt first through the center section and then through the handle. And on the other side of our carriage bolt, we're going to thread on the small nut that comes in the kit. And then we'll tighten it down with a 13mm wrench or socket. With that done, we'll check its operation. You want to pull the handle out, make sure that it goes in and out smoothly, and if you give it a little twist, that it stays locked out. We can now test out the fit of our ball. And it drops right down in there. Now we can lock it in place by releasing the handle. As you can see, it's not going anywhere. We can now reinstall our spare tire and hit the road.
And that completes our installation of B&W's custom underbed installation kit for B&W's companion fifth wheel trailer hitch on our 2017 Chevrolet Silverado 2500.